full-on serious. Looks like Andy might be too.
Yeah, played a lot of English 8-ball in his younger years. Loves his snooker as well. Good friends with, well, the two greatest players of all time, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Stephen Hendry. And if you're watching, Stephen, hope you're well. I know that O'Sullivan probably won't be watching because he's in China at the World Ranking event over there.
Yeah, we're going to get a good look at Goldstein's break right now. Oh, he knows the cut break. He just missed the one high. That's a good sign for Andy. He's been going to WNT school. Look at the one there, just went high. Ralf, nothing straightforward here.
And that's just what we talked about, Scott. There will be no quarter given. He's just not like that, is Ralf. It's not in his makeup.
No, it's not, and you can't blame him. That's the warrior in him. That's the champion in him. Ralf, a great guy, very likable. On the table, he wants to rip your head off. Wow, good try, actually. We call that an all-around good shot. Went around the one on the front and the back side. Yeah, I feel like he might have won a little bigger angle. He can come out 3 or 4 feet still, though. Play the 3-4 combination, or the 3-5 combination, excuse me. Yeah, this is always the problem, though, so now he's got to worry about the 8 and 9. I think he'll be okay. Actually like to come back over where the chalk is now if he could, just below his left hand. And that's what he was worried about all along, right, is making sure that cue ball was free of any trouble. Well, he hung the purple up. Caught the 3 a little too thick is really what happened.
It should be an admissible combo. It is. And what's more, the way he played it retains shape on the 3.
Yeah, Phil, that's right. I think that's better than leaving the 3 in the pocket. Only real trouble's the 7. I like what he did there. He didn't even flirt with coming all the way over due to where the 7 is. Can he pick up the pieces? Just taking what the table gives him. He's got to come with one big shot here. Like to punch all the way across. Did he look at the bank line, Phil? Let's see what he's thinking. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. Those right middle pocket, or that right middle pocket. He's calling his extension. Look at the game face on him. I like him.
He wants this, I tell you. He wants to make an impression. And if he were to win this match, he would be insufferable.
Yeah, I just don't know what you do here. He'd like the cue ball higher towards the top rail to cross it. Can he make this in the side? It's super thin. The problem is these side pockets are unforgivable. He might want to reconsider here. Yeah, I like this shot. Even if he doesn't get full cover, I like the shot. At least you're forcing your opponent to do something good. Very clever shot.
Well, we've already gleaned he's not a total novice.
Probably not gonna like where he is here. Think that Ralph's gonna float to the lower right corner. Oh, he went for the two-way. He doesn't want that to sit up. Oh, this is a real opportunity if Andy is familiar with the short stick.
Souquet will be watching this with interest because, of course, later on, if he has to push out and he knows that Goldstein can't jump, he'll be pushing out to a jump.
Yeah, that's well pointed out, Phil. And that's exactly what's happened. Well, look at this hit. I don't think he's going to get any reward. You got to rub off the 8. That helps things out a little bit. But like Phil just said, well, that tells a story. If you're Ralf Souquet, Andy does not have a jump cue.
Yes, and you know, Ralf will not miss a trick. But he has missed the 7.
Yes, he has, and a fair opportunity for Goldstein here. He can come up and down, really focus on the pot to the top right. You can use a center ball, maybe a touch of outside. And when I say center ball, I guess I just automatically mean more of a high center. He's kind of elevated down on it, so is he going to spin this? Well, he used a center ball. Needs a good rub here. Oh, and he's received it.
That works just fine. Andy Goldstein, 2 pots away from leading Ralf Souquet.
Oh, this is a little short of the mark, Phil. Can he draw first blood?
Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? I think nerves got the better of him. And what an easy opportunity for Souquet to draw first blood. It's been far from clinical. Just coaxing the ball into the pocket, Ralf Souquet leads 1-0. And of course, Souquet has got a real distinction when it comes to the US Open. He was the first ever European winner in 2002. He overcame Alex Pagulayan, 13-11 in the final.
Yeah, Andy cannot be disappointed there. I mean, he just come up a little short on the 8. That's really where the problems came in. Back over to Barry Hearn and Conrad Ujishin just for a moment. Looks like Conrad left with a pretty easy pattern. Big miscue there. There's one thing Conrad's not lacking. It's the shooting department. Well, they always make me look so good. But that was off by a mile.
Barry Hearn's ambition was to win a rack. He's done that. What about winning 2?
Does have good form. Oh, nice. Nice. All you got to do is chop this in. You don't need to introduce any English. Just give it the old center ball smack. Split screen, Souquet broke on the left, made the 1. And the boss overcuts the room rent.
Yeah, when it comes to the amateurs on these tables, so often with that kind of shot you see them overcut.
Yeah, Phil, it looks like the 2 will go rail first. Into the Bumblebee. Is he playing a 3-ball combination or a 2-ball combination? All right, rail first it is.
The opening rack was decidedly scrappy. The second was over in a very short amount of time. Both went to Ralf Souquet, who leads Andy Goldstein 2-0. Bernie Regulario of the Philippines has just won his match against Barry West 9-2. Vitaly Pachura of Ukraine leads Duke Lam 7-2. Dennis Grabber 7-3 over Sergio Lagunas Moreno. Patrick Gonzalez of the Philippines doubling up on Julio Burgos at 6-3. Nick Malai 3-2 on Tony Crosby. Sanyan Pelovanovic just in front now against Yannick Pongas at 6-5. Cash Lance, what a great name that is. He's 3-1 up on Raymond Linares. Christos Papageorgiou 5-0 over Barry Hetherington. And by the way, if Barry Hearn does lose against Konrad Yuzhishin, he will probably play Hetherington on the 1-loss side. Other scores: Met Vergara 6-1 upon John Francisco. These are all first round, of course. Shane Walford 6-2 on Brent Worth. Babkin Melkonyan, the Romanian World Cup player, 6-0 upon Edward Epperson. Do Tae Kien of Vietnam 6-2 over Thomas Satterfield. How about this from Canada? Brad Guthrie leads Michael Feliciano of the Philippines 4-3. And congratulations to Robert Hart, the brother of Kevin Hart, the famous movie actor. Roberts won 9-2 against Joe McGee.
Big win for Robert Hart. That young man loves to play, puts in the work. Shout out to you, Robert. Congratulations. And there's the break that the surgeon is looking for, but he's covered up with the 6 and the 4. Notice the 1. Center cup. Cue ball tracking fairly good. He might have liked it a little lower typically. The 2 came around, so he's close to it, Phil. I don't know exactly what he can do. We could probably bury him up behind the 6, just play the 2 to the top rail. But can you do more than that? These guys typically look for something even better. Or is he looking offensive possibly?
You know one thing, he'll be playing the table, not the opponent. He will be doing the right thing in his own mind. He'll be playing the percentage shot. He's the ultimate percentage player.
Yeah, containing. He wasn't in love with it because he feels that Andy's going to make a good hit here. But it is containing. And, well, like you said, Phil, high percentage.
Let me quickly tell you a couple of players who've completed whitewashes today. Harrah over Carl Morgan, 9-0. Same score for Chris Melling over Sean Santoro. Oh, as no contact is made.
He hit it a little firm, shortened the cue ball up there. In my opinion, I think that was just a fraction hard. Thought he might come to the second rail. Makes that 2 a bigger ball.
It's all hype and good fun before you get out there, and then you miss a 9-ball, lose the first rack, and the realization of your predicament starts to seep in.
Yeah, time almost stands still. You feel like you want to be anywhere but there at the moment. But we live for the punishment. Anywhere just left of where he is now, even where the pink is. Oh, he's been a little quick down on that ball, in my opinion. Got down, hit it on the 3rd stroke, but seemed a little quick on the backswing.
A ball you did not expect Ralf Souquet to miss, and he missed it by such a distance it came away from the pocket.
Now Andy, reminiscent of his friend Ronnie O'Sullivan with the tongue coming out there. Oh, I like the shot. He needs to hit the 7. Well, this is not a very nice play.
He's covered an awful lot of snooker over the years as Andy. First on Sky Sports with the old Premier League, and in more recent times for Eurosport.
And nice hit. Aware that that cue ball is going to lengthen out with the high ball on this cloth. Not easy here. Wow.
Cracking shot, Andy. Cracking shot. Now, come on, make the most of it.
Yeah, don't overthink it. 6 is laid up for you. Just knock this down. Nice strike. Don't get straight on the 7. Stay somewhere maybe just left of center. Yeah, this is a little straighter than he wanted. A little longer than he wanted, I would assume.
Hit that ball unnecessarily hard, and that's why it refused to drop.
That's exactly right, Phil. The heart rate probably up. Take another look. He just overcut it a fraction, I believe. Yeah, just overcut it. But like Phil said, a little too hard.
Well, Souquet missed a straight-in 4-ball, but I do not expect him to waste this. The end could be nigh on table 1, where Konrad Yuzhishin leads Barry Hearn 8-1. Yuzhishin on the hill.
Well, a great shot on the one there by the boss. He was elevated completely over the 3. Made it look easy.
On the main table, 3-0 Souquet. Now, come on, Barry. What a memory it would be if he could run out. Highly unlikely, but we can only hope. And that hope is dashed.
While it was on his bucket list to play, he certainly achieved that. It's all been good fun. It's pretty cool to have him here.
Yes, and of course, with the double elimination in place, he will get another go.
Can you give us an idea who he might play next?
Yeah, looks like being Barry Etherington of Canada. What a great shot that was from Conrad, by the way. He's playing the supporting role in this match. But
yes, he is, Phil.
he's got wonderful skills. Yes, assuming that Barry Hearn loses here, which is not a wild assumption, is it? It looks like being Barry Hetherington for him on the one-loss side, because Hetherington at the moment is 6-0 down to Christos Papageorgiou.
And I think Conrad's okay. Might just have to go forward here, unless he wants to swing all the way around. That's what he's looking at. Souquet to break on the split screen. Yeah, he's really consistent with the 1. That's a good sign for him. A lot of people have been struggling with that. What's Conrad got going on over here? He tried some fancy stuff. He's Souquet keeping Andy pretty locked down.
Can be very methodical, Ralf Souquet. But of course, on the main table, there's a 30-second shot clock, and I really do think that's of benefit to him. It makes his mind up for him. As we see KJ, Konrad Yuzhin, knocking in a really good penultimate ball. And then the final ball. Barry Hearn defeated, but not whitewashed. He gets a rack on the board, and that was his pre-match ambition. Konrad Yuzhin wins by 9 racks to 1. The boss has been bossed.
Yeah, and he'll be happy to walk away with a game under his belt. And he'll most likely play better going forward. Back to the main table. Ralf with an open table.
Just thinking about my out there. Scott, the boss has been bossed. If I'm not here tomorrow, you know why.
Well, a new opening. I don't think they could get rid of you, Phil. Wow, I didn't think he could hold that as much either. You'll notice he played that to the top left side of the pocket, or the left facing.
Well, I must say I've really enjoyed this morning so far. We've had that shock result. Alex Bausch beating Mustafa Alner, then the pleasure of watching Barry Hearn play, the pleasure of watching Andy Goldstein taking on Ralf Souquet, which is ongoing.
Yeah, and this scoreline could be a lot different, to be honest with you, Andy. Missing the 9 and then missing the 8. Well, It could be 2-1, Andy, without a problem. Oh, he's going to end up on top of this, or at least stretched. Yeah. Either direction you go, Ralph, it's not going to change. He's going to switch hands here. And he's got it down. Made that look pretty easy, to be fair. Very good cue ball there. Backswing looking good for Souquet.
One of my favourite players, Ralf Souquet. He's so precise and he's been around forever. His first big title, I suppose, was the German 8-ball championship in 1988, which is 36 years ago. He spent a life in pool. Basically, his parents ran a bar, and at the age of 6 he started practicing for many hours a day on the pool table in that bar, and for 5 decades now he's been adding to a very lengthy list of titles. In fact, he's done so much. He received the Silver Laurel Leaf in his native Germany, which is the highest official distinction awarded to sports people from that country, and it was presented to him by the German president at the time, Roman Herzog. So that's the level of competitor you're looking at. And of course, at the age of 55, he continues to be highly competitive. It was only a couple of years ago he won the European 8-ball championship.
Yeah, you just said it all, basically. Fascinating player. One of my favorite players growing up. So precise with the cue ball. And look at him. This is his demeanor. You'll never see him any different at the table. Stoic.
Yeah, European Moscone Cup mainstay for many a year. 6 times World Masters champion, US Open champion. Basically, he's won everything.
He's overamped it just a fraction, in my opinion. Maybe caught the one a little thick, but it definitely went high of the left side. Well, the cue ball tracked correctly. 2 rails right into the 9. So I don't exactly know. Maybe just a little firm. Nothing straightforward. Seems like it's been a tough go as of late for Goldstein. Well, you can see that the man can shoot.
I think had he knocked in that 9-ball in the first rack, the feel of this match might have been a little different. I'm not going to say he would have won. I just could not see that. And I told him that this morning, actually, when he asked me what I thought would happen. But I certainly thought he could win 2 or 3 racks, and there's still time for that to happen.
Yeah, there's no doubt. To me, it looks like he could win more than that. And like you said, Phil, oh, wow, what a hit. He doesn't want this to drop. Wow, that was a special play there. But if he does get that 9 down, he just came up short with the 8. A little deceleration. Take another look at this. He played to go into this ball thick and just kick it out like that and stick the cue ball with a high inside. Never thought about it going in the middle. Does he have a look at the 2? Chipping it over, maybe. It's going to be a little short.
A little flick off the 8-ball might have been really beneficial there.
Yeah, he's going to leave it open, but it's not terrible. Seven, 9 are awkward. This is awkward. Yeah, you can't blame him, can you? The angle was tough. Does it get there? Well, Andy looks good tactically. Might get him up behind the 3 here, Phil.
I think, though, in many respects, this is one of the hardest draws that Andy Goldstein could have got, because apart from Souquet's reputation, it's the way he treats every single opponent. With the utmost respect, he plays the game properly every time he goes to the table.
Well, Ralf did give him the tap of approval. You can see here he's got plenty of room to go to the backside of the 2. Oh, he's going to lose the cue ball here. And Goldstein mount a charge.
7 and 9 in awkwardly close proximity. Apart from that, chances. We've had news of the next televised match on this main table. It will be Ali Alabaidli of Qatar against the US Mosconi Cup captain Skylar Woodward. Jeremy Jones and Carl Boys will be guiding you through that one. Andy Goldstein unable to guide the 3 ball into the pocket.
And speaking of Jeremy Jones, he had a great win versus Tyler Steyer yesterday, 9-8. Made a great run out. He's over here practicing just not long ago. He's got the day off.
This cue ball needs to run, and it has done. Yes, Jeremy, ever the gentleman, made a point on commentary early today of thanking you, Scott, Carl Boys and myself for filling in while he wasn't behind the microphone. Well, I think it applied to you and I, Scott, but I think Carl had a very easy day, didn't he, as he normally does. Just shooting the breeze with people and ambling around, occasionally coming in for a match when he deems fit.
I tell you what, I'd be happy to sit in this booth the rest of the week if that means Jeremy continues to win. No comment on Carl. Oh, he's overcooked this. Caught it way too thin. He tried to force the cue ball to the right of the 6. I thought he could hold it for the right middle. And what do you know, Phil? I get the hunch that guy Carl Boys is around here somewhere, probably enjoying life.
Goldstein not enjoying that positional effort. Much too close to his work.
This is extremely thin. Well, he wanted to crash into the 7 and 9. He's going to miss the side. That's okay. Work with what you've got, Andy. The 9 is a big ball here. Just lay the 7 up on the bottom rail. You got to get there. Okay.
Yes, you could tell by the way he froze on the spot. He was a little concerned whether the 7 would make the journey to the cushion. It just about did.
Yeah, but the good news for Andy is I think he's cut him off, or at least cut him halfway off from the left long rail. Yeah, he's pretty leveled out, so I guess he can see most of it. This is makeable. Well, it could have finished a lot worse for Souquet. Do you stay defensive or offensive here? I think Andy is going to have a go at this.
That's his second missed 7 ball. The first one was down the left-hand long rail when he hit it too hard. And I think it's going to be exactly the same outcome. Loss of rack.
Yeah, and he seems tactically sound. I figured he'd consider the defensive play. There was a couple options there. But I can't fault him for trying to make something happen either.
Yeah, he's coming into someone else's domain, isn't he? And you can't compete with 40 years, 50 years of playing experience. And in the case of Ralf Souquet, almost 40 years at the top. He's been far from flawless, has the Kaiser. The surgeon has made a few missed cuts, if you like. But nevertheless, he leads 5-0. Let's give you some scores around this arena. Vitaly Pachura of Ukraine on the hill against Duklam at 8-5. Nick Malai 6-3 up on Tony Crosby. 2 players on the hill. Dennis Grabber 8-5 over Sergio Lagunas Moreno. Patrick Gonzalez, same score over Julio Burgos. Sanyan Pilovanovic in danger of being sent to the 1-loss side immediately. The youngster from Bosnia is 8-7 down to Yannick Pongas. Cash Lance leads Raymond Linares 4-2. Barry Hearn's opponent on the 1-loss side will be Barry Hetherington of Canada. So it will be the battle of the Barrys. Hetherington lost 9-0 to Christos Papageorgiou. Met Vergara is 6-3 up on John Francisco. Michael Feliciano, after being 4-3 down to Brad Guthrie, now leads the Canadian 7-5. 7-2 for Babkin Milconian over Edward Epperson. And Shane Walford, his US Open has begun positively with a 9-3 win over Lucas, or should I say, Brent Worth. So Walford 9, Worth 3. But the youngster from Iowa, Sam Henderson, in early trouble against Paul Lordy. That's over on table 9, and it's Lordy who leads 4-2. Hunter Lombardo of New York City. He's 8-2 up on Bill Smith Jr. Jan van Leeuwen 4-0 up on Iro Rompainen.
Thank you for the updates there. Another good break by Souquet. The 1 really consistent. Matter of fact, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, he's probably been the most consistent with the 1 in the middle. We've seen players make it early, then kind of lose track of it mid-match. The 2-5 looming. The problem, the 3 It's covered by the 4 up to the top right, so he might want to come into the back of the 9 here to give him some more room to operate with. Yeah, I thought he might come into the back of the 9, Phil. So he had an angle to wrap around 1, 2, 3, 4 and play the red 3 in the right middle.
I think it's fair to say, Scott, that Souquet is making more mistakes, unforced errors, than he normally does.
Yeah, he's been a bit scrappy. Could have something to do with playing one Andy Goldstein, but we've touched on it. Not typically Ralph's style. Needs a big rub here. Isn't going to get it.
Yeah, Gale Force Goldstein, they're calling him, hence the shirt.
And once again, he's laid it up. It's about all he could do. Not trying to be hard on him, but he's laid it up in the corner. If you could have got it up just a fraction higher, meaning the 3, maybe not such a threat to make it, but not easy with a bridge. He's going to go to the second rail here. Yeah, and that was the concern all along. Great shot by Ralf Souquet.
Yeah, one audience member clapped, quite rightly so. Vitaly Pachura of Ukraine has beaten Duklan, by the way, 9-5. So in round 2 he plays Bernie Regulario.
Nice stroke there. Just going to pull out for the left middle on the 7. Now track 1 rail up for the 8 in the right middle. He could just float, even better.
He's always very functional, is Ralf Souquet. Keeps everything as simple as possible.
He's going to have a little more distance than he wanted on the 9. He's on the low side of the 8. Nothing too difficult here. Andy direly wants to get on the board and should have.
He's missed a few pots, Ralf Souquet, in this match, but he didn't miss the 9 there from mid-distance. And so the one-sided nature of the match continues. It is 6-0. 3 results to tell you about. Estonia's number 1, Dennis Graber, did come through. 9-5 over Sergio Lagunas Moreno. Same score for Patrick Gonzalez over Julio Burgos. Yannick Pongas has sent Sanyan Pilovanovic to the 1-loss side. Sanyan was talked about as a possible European Mosconi Cup player. And the big event will take place at the Carib Royale Resort in the heart of Orlando, Florida. Starts out November 30, ends up 4 days later on December 3. Europe against the USA. Europe are the defending cup holders, but I think with the talent that the USA has at their disposal this time, that big 3 of Woodward, Van Boning and Gorst on home soil, I think the Americans could carry the day, don't you, Scott?
Yeah, it looks like it so far. Gorst, obviously, a big addition.
all speculation, of course. Only 2 members of each side known at the moment. It's 5-man teams, if you're unaware, and it is the most high-profile event in pool every year. Andy Goldstein has been the presenter at a few Moscone Cups. I think his first one, he was telling me yesterday, was 2007. There is pressure behind the microphone, but it's a very different kind of pressure when you're out there in what is for him uncharted territory.
Yeah, he's got that game face. He's very intense. I like it. He takes it seriously. Good sign of a good sportsman. And he's probably trying to get that first 9 ball out of his head. So it could have changed his scoreline dramatically. Well, this is the first time we've really seen him miss the 1 by such a big margin. I believe it went low. It did go high. And the 9 shot out. Had to have gotten a kiss. Yeah, I tell you what, I feel like he got a bad rub there, but he's going to be all right, I think, unless it passes the purple. I feel like Andy's strong suit, and he probably won't agree with me with his snooker background, but he's really good tactically. He's made some good decisions. I think that game where he missed the 7 in the lower left, if he would have considered the defensive play, he had a couple good options. Might have changed things as well. Yeah, you could hear the clock counting down. Souquet going to the extra 30 seconds. I believe it must pass the 5. Oh, clever, using the 2.
By the way, the winner of this match will take on either Med Vergara or John Francisco. Vergara made the quickest start, but now Francisco trailing only 6-4. If there's a gap there, that's cruel.
Well, there is, Phil, and it is cruel. Yeah, a little flick of the wrist there. He's gotten away with it. Andy scratching his head.
Yeah, there's such a golfing experience and you might say ability between these two that the one thing you didn't want to see was the old hand, the multiple champion, having a good run of the ball.
This is definitely not something you dream of. Has the bridge out, looking to go 1 rail towards the 1. I don't think there's a real good 2-rail line unless he wants to try and spin past the pink. Oh, what a hit. This has got to have something to do with his snooker experience.
Yeah, deserved everything he got there. I'm just wondering whether he's got anything, because Souquet looking to see whether the 1 will pass the 2 into top left.
Yeah, at worst he could lay him down behind it, but I think Ralf looking to possibly stay aggressive here. Well, no, he's not going to give up any air, but maybe he is. There might be a look at this 1. It is close.
Gale force trying the Massey.
Yeah, I don't know that he even needs that. You're talking about a sliver of a jump. Problem is, can he reach it?
I think you'll agree with this, Scott. Souquet 6-0 ahead, and he won't be pleased with the way he's performed so far.
Yeah, I fully agree. He tried to stitch Andy up behind the two that last shot. Doesn't want to give him any breathing room. And I don't think he will be thrilled with the performance. Try and send him below the 8. It's going to work. I'd say Andy should have brought a jump cue.
Or a swerve cue.
That too.
Like many an aspiring baseball player, they're discovering that he can't hit the curve.
He's got it a little thick. It's going to drop. He had good speed.
And if you want a pot to a middle pocket, this is the kind of pot you want. Hanging right over.
Out towards the center.
It's a little more than connecting the dots, but it should be, for someone of Ralf Souquet's stature, eminently doable.
We are playing all ball fouls. That's why his hand is so far behind the 9. And that's nicely done. Does he come one rail all the way back out towards the center? Does he try to hold to the left side of the table here? Yeah, I don't think holding was an option. Going to draw above the 9. This is definitely steeper than it looks. The 8 in a favorable position. Just got to miss or avoid contact with the 9 here. Up and down. Might use an outside ball and come 4 rails. Knowing Ralf, he keeps it simple.
Andy Goldstein yet to get off the mark, and it looks as though another rack is slipping away.
Yeah, Ralph's handled this rack quite nicely. Wasn't straightforward.
6-0 becomes 7-0. Ralf Souquet needs a couple more racks to go through with a clean sheet. Over on table 7, Nick Malai in a real battle with Tony Crosby. Malai of Albania leading 6-5. Cash Lance 4-3 up on Raymond Linares. Met Vergara 7-4 now over John Francisco. The significance of that, if Vergara can get the job done, he will play, presumably, Souquet in round 2. Sam Henderson pulling back against Paul Lordy. Slow going actually on table 9, but Henderson now just trailing 4-3. And Jan van Leerup, he leads Iro Rompainen, the father of Riku Rompainen, who's out of the tournament, by the way. Jan van Leerup now 7-0 ahead. Hunter Lombardo had a comfortable 9-2 win over Bill Smith Jr. So round 2 matches are now taking place, and there's a big name involved, Shane Van Boning. You can watch his match against Eric Roberts on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel because they're playing on table 1. SVB leads 2-0. Imran Majid 1-0 up on Kwo Po Cheng. Mickey Kraus tried to make it a very notable double after winning the European Open in Fulda, Germany, a couple of weeks ago. He's 2-0 up on Cliff Castelline. Miguel Silva 2-1 over Mark Bosch de Bosch. Alexa Pachelch has taken the first rack from Justin Pelesh. And a former winner of this, Carlo Biardo, taking on Robert Hart, and first blood to Biardo.
Yeah, the 1 goes high. Bunch of clusters. The 9 never moved. Wasn't the rack. That is a sign of maybe a few things not touching if that 9 takes a trip outside of the area. More of an inaccurate hit, I think. Wow. Nice stroke. Does he have a look? He does. He's got a lot of work to do. The 4 and 5 tied up here on the lower left end. Another look. This is going to get more difficult, Phil. He's on the rail. I'd almost consider crossing this 3 to the top left and just playing the cue ball down here behind the 7 and 9. Play the 3 short. He's going to go at it. Well, don't open him up.
He's a more accomplished player than Barry Hearn. That is quite clear. But in terms of bragging rights so far, Barry gets the edge because he put a rack on the board against Konrad Zhushin. Goldstein yet to get off the mark despite potting some really good balls and clearly showing he can play the game.
Yeah, pretty great control there. You mentioned Mickey Kraus. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on him this week. I think his win at the European Open could do one of 2 things here this week. Could really send him forward, which it should. Wow, there you go, Andy. No love, Phil.
No, out of the frying pan into the fire. He's not had the best of fortune, has he?
Yeah, great shot. Got to come with another one. Just short. So when you use that speed, you've got to know it's going to shorten up a little bit. I'm sure there's nerves at play. But even though it's new cloth, it's not going to lengthen up much when you use speed.
Souquet looking to see whether the pink 4 ball will possibly squeeze past the 5. If it does, it could spell trouble for Goldstein. trouble it is.
Yes, big trouble. Can just stop right there. One rail up. Going to play the 8 in the lower left. Possibly come to the second rail here. No need. Starting to look better. Second half of this match, as you'd expect. Andy running out of time, Phil.
Yeah, and steam. He came over to the commentary position earlier today as I was preparing for the broadcast, and he said to me, "What do you think the score will be?" So I had to be truthful. I said, "Well, I know you can play, Andy. For me, it would be 9-2, 9-3. And he said, "Do you think you'll get that many? I.e. 2 or 3. He was very chipper then. I don't think he is quite so now. But there's still this one opportunity to get on the board. And I don't think, and I know I'm a friend of Andy's, but I don't think 8-0 is a quietly true representation.
No, I fully agree. This could be a lot different if he got a little higher off of that 8 ball earlier. He looked real comfortable, and I think that was game number 1. If he just gets a foot higher, even 6 inches higher, the cut on the 9 becomes, well, pretty much routine. You end up missing that 9, and then hung the 8, or excuse me, the 7. The second game after that. So, you know, if those two things don't happen early, Souquet doesn't get the momentum that he's got now, I really do know that this guy can play a little. You can tell he's got ability.
Yes, but if ever a first rack moulded a match, this is it. Actually, not dissimilar to our first match on the main table today, when Alex Bausch beat Mustafa Alner in a surprise 9-4. Alner was in, potting balls with all the confidence in the world, knocked in an 8, took the cue ball round off a couple of cushions, scratched, Bausch knocked in the 9, and from there on in, you always got the feeling that Alner might be a little vulnerable, and so it proved.
Yeah, Phil, we see it all the time where that first game really swings in favor of the winner. It happens in all sports, quite frankly. He who draws first blood becomes big favorite.
Ralf Souquet, one of 2 players currently 8-0 ahead over on table 21. Jan van Leerup of the Netherlands 8-0 up on Eero Rompainen.
He got good action on the 9, but look, it's going to be an opportunity. Will it be his last? Goldstein at the table. The 1 long again. We've seen this over and over on this table, and I don't know that it's the table, but the consistency on the break just hasn't been there yet for just about any of them.
No. Well, it was nicely done on the 1, but the cue ball clearly got away. Now, as for Shane Van Boning on table 1, we're hearing he isn't just 4-0 up going 5-0. Poor old Eric Roberts has had 1 shot so far.
Yeah, well, We talked about it. I touched on it. I truly believe it. I think he's hitting the ball as good as he's ever hit it in his life. Yes, he's 40 years old, but he's also in his prime. Just beat one Fedor Gorst in a 3-day match, 120 to 116. And if you ever had enough practice to come to the U.S. Open, well, it's him, and he's had it. Could it be that week, Phil, to get number 6?
And did you commentate on all 236 racks, Scott?
Yes, I did.
Well, that was a marathon. This looks like being the sprint.
It's got a little work left. You see that the cue ball's below the 5, meaning to the left. So he's got to come to the right side of the table. He's got to get perfect on this 6 in order to get it down. I foresee a possible opportunity here for Andy. Unless you hit it like that. My goodness gracious. Can he make this? Wow. What a great hit. Made it look easy. He's wincing. Tells me it's close.
He's wincing and he's winning by a comfortable margin. But he wants to complete the whitewash. That's Ralph's DNA. That's why he's one of the hard men of the game. I told Andy what to expect.
Well, Phil, you're exactly right. You called it early on in this match. He was not going to give any breathing room. Well, and Andy is suffocating at this point. Tell you what, he's had to kick the ball 2 or 3 times this match with the bridge. Not fun. And unintended spin on that ball due to where the 7 was. You got a feel for Andy. I truly believe things could have been different this match if he would have executed a couple different little things early. Therefore, Souquet merciless.
Yeah, and maybe they will be different on the one-loss side for Andy Goldstein. Looks like playing John Francisco, who is 8-4 down now to Med Vergara. Vergara 1 rack away from taking on, you would assume, Ralf Souquet in round 2.
Yeah, well then John Francisco and Andy Goldstein, that is a good match. I know how John plays, and I think I've got a good idea how Andy plays. It's been a treat, Phil, especially getting to do this with you and Andy Goldstein at the table. We just wish he'd have got a game or 2 under his belt. We knew it was a tall order.
In the end, it is a goose egg as Ralf Souquet, now a kind gentleman, but not kind on the table, completing a 9-0 whitewash. The clean sheet for the Kaiser. We've got 5 minutes off and we'll be back shortly with match 3 here on the main arena. I can tell you, it is Qatar against the USA. It is Ali Alabaidli against the US Mosconi Cup captain, Skylar Woodward.